And I'm back with more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. We've spoken to Sister Bikini and obtained much of the backstory and motive. We know what's going on, as you can tell. The question is how it was done. So, let's figure out how it was done, shall we? Sounds like someone's happy. What's that they're humming? No motive, no crime. No motive, no crime. Sing it with me. No motive, no crime. I remember when we used to search. Whoop. Love my job. Who cares if the clues we find are no good? That's not what investigating is all about. The investigator investigates for the love of investigating. It's a passion. Good cases we have, good cases we lost. I never guessed Gumshoe was into reggae. That's what reggae is supposed to be. Hey, pal! Huh? What? Who, me? How long you been there? I just got here. Oh, okay. So what are you up to, detective? I'm investigating, pal. Made a promise to Mr. Edgeworth. Promised I would find a real murder weapon. A real murder weapon? That barbed sword turned out to be a false lead, right? I'm going to give my best shot here. Still haven't turned up any clues. Just found these weird scraps of paper. Looks like a letter or something. Doesn't have anything to do with the case, though. A letter? So how's the investigation going? I don't know if I should be telling you, pal. But it can't hurt. Looks like the murder took place in the inner temple garden. And they're taking that bloody writing on the lantern pretty seriously back in HQ. You mean... I don't have the details, pal. All I know is if you don't find Maya down in that sacred cavern, we're going to be faced with one ugly situation. What kind of ugly situation are we talking about? You got me. I don't know. Ain't my words, pal. Then who said it? Mr. Godot. Godot? What do you mean by that? About that letter you found. Don't remind me, pal. I'm busting a gut here trying to find a murder weapon. And all I found was this burned up old letter. Burnt letter? Yeah, it was in the incinerator right outside the inner temple. Incinerator? I knew it. I knew I wasn't imagining it. There was snow in the incinerator when I first saw it. But after the incident, the snow had melted away, which means someone used the incinerator the night of the murder. What's up with you, pal? I've got it right here if you want to take a look. Can I? Sure, go nuts. I don't mind, pal. I don't want it. You can have it. It's all spirit mediums and masters and junk. Bet it's got no relation to this case. Spirit mediums. It's got to be important if it mentions spirit mediums and masters. Better give it a good look. Make sure you chuck it in the trash when you're done. Littering's a crime, pal. Channel her spirit. Oof. Oh, God. So what do you know about the real murder weapon so far? Well, it wasn't that Shishito thing that they found the other day. Mr. Edgeworth proved it in court. That's true. In which case, it must have been another blade. And that's what you're running around like a headless chicken looking for? Yeah, man, it's tiring work, but let me tell you something, pal. I'm no chicken. We got the feather of forensics in our cap today. We're using the department's secret weapon on this. What's this secret weapon? You want to know? Gotta think scientifically, okay? Alright. Murder weapon was a sword. Swords are, scientifically speaking, made of metal, right? Any questions? No. I know what he's gonna say, but I'll let him look smart. Well, it's a perfect tool for the job. There it is, a metal detector. Raise your hand if you didn't see that coming a mile away. You want to give scientific investigation a go? Me? I've been using this thing for hours now. It's getting pretty boring after a while. Why don't you try? Should I help him? Come on, pal. It's good fun, I'm telling you. Alright. Like I said, this is the department's most advanced gadget, the absolute best. It's so sensitive you can make it cry. You could skydive off it. Oh, brother. So, I'll tell you how to use it. It's possible the real murder weapon's somewhere around here, right? Sure, that's what they're trying to find out. Right, well, first, you just turn this thing on. Now, that's the sound of the metal detector bouncing off of something. Next, move that detector around till you give this courtyard a good look-see, pal. When you hear something super sensitive, press the X button. This thing picks up metallic objects hidden from sight, too. Take a good look around and everything to see if you find anything suspicious, pal. Hey, pal! This is Miss Donham's staff, isn't it? Scientifically speaking, they're usually made of wood, but the detector's reacting to it. However you look at it, it's made of wood, right? I don't bother investigating anything that looks like it might be metallic. Isn't the whole point of a metal detector to find metal where you can't see it? Well, that's weird. It's causing a racket. Let me have a look. Ah, hands off! Examining evidence is the job for me. Huh? The top's coming off. Look what you did, pal. You damaged a really important piece of evidence. Huh? Oh, God. That's a sword? Inside the staff? Could it be? Murder weapon! Eh. Damn it, I pressed the wrong thing. I never would have guessed there was a sword concealed in the staff. They call this kind of thing the sword cane, pal. This one's a real gem. Workmanship's kind of something else. Thank goodness it wasn't a cane sword, or else the victim would have stabbed her own foot. I officially give up trying to figure out how Gumshoe's mind works. The real scene of the crime is in her temple garden. What was the sword used to kill the victim found in the courtyard? Hey, Gumshoe, who knows about this hidden sword? Nobody. Even the police didn't know about it till I discovered it just now. Well, as they say, there's no team in Gumshoe. Doesn't look like there's any traces of blood on it. Then I guess this isn't a murder weapon. No. I'm sure someone just wiped it off after the murder. Oh, yeah. This thing's definitely the murder weapon. Great job, pal. It's got the same length as the Shichito. Shichito. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna run over to forensics. There's gotta be some traces of blood left. Even if most of it's been wiped off. See you later, pal. Wait up, detective. What? I'm a pretty busy guy, you know. You're gonna get that staff analyzed, right? Would you mind holding off for a little while? Wait, what are you talking about? Just until we find Maya. Maya? What's this got to do with her? I don't know, but I'm starting to get a really bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Look, Maya's trapped inside the sealed cavern right now. Well, we don't even know if she's okay or not. The more evidence and testimony I hear, the more uneasy I feel. You don't think Maya's been... No! Please, let's just wait until we can get inside. You're looking kind of viridian, pal. Alright. Just stop with that face. One thing, though. The staff's secret trick. Let's keep it between you and me, okay? If it gets out that we knew about it and didn't say anything, we're finished. I understand. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill staff, you got it? Now take good care of it, pal. Thanks. Don't worry, she'll be fine. You know, there's a place at the base of this mountain with some really good pasta. How about I take you there when you find Maya, huh? Sure, thanks. Can't help but wonder, though. What else was Elise Donham doing with a staff like this in the first place? Okay. And then we can Go back. Okay. Yeah, let me just trace my steps here. Okay. Okay, so garden. Okay, cool. So now it's time to talk to Edgeworth. You guys are putting a lot of effort into the investigation of the garden here, huh? There's a high chance the actual scene of the crime, that's why. You mean because of the writing on blood and the talisman? Exactly. As you know, those things couldn't have been planted here after the murder. But surely you don't suspect Maya, do you? We have to treat everyone as a suspect. Maya as well as Iris. It's our job. So, I guess you still haven't gotten over your fear of earthquakes. No. Though my nightmares have stopped. But still, if the ground gives even the slightest tremor, I find myself short of breath. When we were little kids in elementary, Edgeworth found himself in the middle of a murder. It all started with that big quake that hit the courtyard. Yes, I was stuck in the elevator with my father, who was a defense attorney. We were deprived of oxygen, and we passed out. That's when it happened. That single gunshot shattered my whole life. I lost everything that day, all because of that earthquake. My dreams, my family, and myself. It's been more than 17 years, and the case finally was resolved, right? You think I don't know that? I was there, but it was such a shock. I never imagined I could be so wrong about myself and my life. I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can say. Not after you chose to become a lawyer for my sake. And not after you saved me. You're stronger than you think, so no more of this self-pity, you got it? There was something bothering me about her the moment we met. I felt like I'd seen her somewhere before. Not somewhere. I felt like I'd seen her in court. So you went back to Criminal Affairs Department and looked at her file? Yes, I checked over every case file I've ever worked, and I was right. I'd seen her face before. 6 years ago. 6 years ago? It was my first appearance in court, and as cases go, it was my worst nightmare. So, who is she? I'm sorry, Wright. I can't give the information away to the member of the general public. What? It might be the crucial piece of evidence to solve this case. The woman I knew was the daughter of a jewelry store owner. She had nothing to do with Iris at Hazakura Temple, and neither did the case. That woman is completely unrelated. Unrelated? I can't say that with complete confidence. You're wrong. She's totally related. I need to fill him in. Hey, Edgeworth, did you know that Iris had a twin sister? What? A twin? You can't be serious. Sister Bikini told me, but problem is she didn't know the name of this twin. There was nothing about Iris having a sister in the files I checked. Well, Iris was taken to the temple when she was really young. Apparently her sister was raised by her father, a jeweler, I think. Right, I just might know who this twin sisters of her is. I had a feeling you'd say that. Let me guess. Her name is Dahlia Hawthorne, right? Yes, exactly. Please tell me what you know about her. Please. It was my first court case 6 years ago. I was a greenhorn, and due to my inexperience, the defendant died. You're talking about Terry Falls, right? You know about it? You're not the only one who noticed something about Iris and Dahlia. I checked out one of Mia's old cases from 6 years ago. Yes, Dahlia was a key witness in that case. Dahlia and Terry Falls conspired together to stage a fake kidnapping 11 years ago. They stole a jewel worth $2 million from Dahlia's father. And 5 years after that, she murdered her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne, to keep her from talking. Her sister? Well, her stepsister, actually. They weren't blood-related. Valerie was the only daughter of Dahlia's father's second wife. And this is when she entered my life. The woman who tried to kill me. So after Terry Falls died, what happened to Dahlia? Did you check that out? Doesn't really matter. Like I said, Dahlia isn't connected. Why are you so sure about that? It's simple. Dahlia Hawthorne is dead. What? Well, her metabolic processes are a matter of interest, or they're only a matter of historians, so to speak. What do you mean by Dahlia Hawthorne's dead? Right. I must confess that in reading her file, I came to know of the murder case you were involved in. Dahlia was found guilty, thanks to the persistence of Mia Fey. At the time, Dahlia, it's like she was possessed by a demon or something. It's been almost 5 years since the guilty verdict was handed down, and her sentence was finally carried out. She was executed last month. Executed? I'm sure it's a bit of shock, and for more reasons than one. But you understand now. She can't possibly be connected to this case. She's dead, and when someone is dead, there's no way to revive them. There's no way to revive the dead? I wonder. Seems you're not aware of that one other connection yet. What's that? It's about Iris and Dahlia's mother. What's her mother got to do with it? She's Morgan Fey, a spirit medium from a branch family from the Crane channeling technique. Did you say Crane? Do you know something about it? Oh yes, I know it's connected with that fraudulent spirit medium. Fraudulent? I was involved in another nightmare 17 years ago. I was caught up in the middle of a murder investigation. The police didn't have any leads. They were stumped, and that's when they called her in. She was a very famous spirit medium and master of her channeling school. But you know what happened. As a result of her efforts, an innocent man was accused of murder. She and her powers are all fraudulent. Edgeworth. Go to the police records room, it's all there. All you have to do is check the case file and you'd know. Of course, how could I forget? Edgeworth was the victim. You'll understand someday, and then you'll see that the Crane technique is real. I think it's time you told the truth about what you were doing that night. You said you were in your room at Hazakura Temple the entire time. Do you still claim that to be the truth? That's where I was. Iris, I believe you're innocent. That's why I want to believe what you're telling me to, but I can't. Because this person saw you somewhere else. I'm talking about Sister Bikini, of course. Her testimony in court today was very clear. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training, but as you can see, my back likes to act up violently, so I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to the temple. Sister Bikini didn't just see you, she spoke with you. You two talked about Maya's training that night, so you see, you were at the inner temple that night. That's very impressive. The acolyte's actual training was due to start after 10 o'clock. I left the main hall early so I wouldn't be late. What time was that? Let me see. It takes about 20 minutes to walk between the main hall and the inner temple. So I would have left at 9:40, I think. I'm sorry, but lying doesn't doesn't suit you. You say you left the main hall, but what you say doesn't add up. You yourself testified to the contrary, remember? You said you rang the lights out bell at 10 o'clock. What? Plus, only moments after you rang that bell, you were seen at the main hall by the most reliable witness I have. Who's that? Me. Mr. Wright. We even spoke a little that evening. That's when you gave me this. Surely you haven't forgotten. No. That's right, I remember. And that brings us to another puzzling fact. At 10 o'clock the night of the murder, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. This time you told me exactly what's been going on. So far I've managed to prove 2 things. One, on the night of the incident you were at the inner temple, and second, at the exact same time you were ringing the bell at Hazakura Temple. There's only one possible explanation for this apparent impossibility. On the night of the incident, you were seen in 2 different places, which means there must have been 2 of you. I can't think of any other explanation. But that's crazy! How can that be? There's only one of me. Uh-oh. Well, her face changed, all right. Impossible, I wonder. The way you're trembling certainly seems to suggest otherwise. You're seriously trying to suggest there's more than one of me? Then show me evidence. Show me something that proves there's more than one of me. I have a firm grasp on the situation. You have a sister, don't you? A twin sister, perhaps. That's right. Dahlia Hawthorne, a woman I know only too well. I had no idea you knew of her. That's very impressive, but she's no longer... Yeah, I know. Her sentence was carried out recently, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Thank you. There's no need to explain now, is there, Iris? This second you was at the temple. It was your twin sister. But you yourself just said, my sister's dead. How have you forgotten that? Have you forgotten this? This is a channeling dojo, a training ground for the Korean channeling technique. That night, someone channeled their spirit, and you knew about it. And that's the secret you've been trying to hide from me. I was at my room in the main hall that night. As soon as I'd heard I'd been spotted at the inner temple, I knew it was my sister. Dahlia, the other half of me, who passed away last month. Just as I suspected. The Iris that Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because my sister always does the right thing. Excuse me? Because I mustn't get in the way of what she's trying to do. I already betrayed her once before. I can't do it again. You betrayed her? What do you mean? That's why I have to accept I may be found guilty. It's just the only way. What's she talking about? You know about it, don't you? About that fake kidnapping that took place here 11 years ago? That was the start of it. It's what started her down a twisted path. She started to commit crime after crime, and in the end she lost her life. It's all because I betrayed her. How did you betray her? It was no coincidence that Eagle Mountain was the exchange. After all, I helped plan the whole thing. But I got scared, so I ran away. What are you talking about? Why would you help her? Stealing $2 million from your own father, that's awful! But I promised I'd help. And she didn't do it for the money. What? It was revenge on our father. Revenge? What do you mean revenge? He was a hideous man. He threw our mother away and then sent her to hell. She's talking about Morgan. Our mother was the oldest daughter of the main branch of the Fey family. The main family had a lot of influence in many businesses and political circles. As the eldest daughter, our mother was set to inherit all of that. That's the reason our father married our mother in the first place. But his plan backfired, because our mother's sister took it all away. She took over as the master of Karain, Misty Fey, Maya's mother. But before long, the credibility of the Karain tradition hit rock bottom. The new master, Misty Fey, made a terrible mistake. It was during the investigation of DO6. After that happened, our father took me and our own twin sister away, leaving our mother in her own home behind. He hated this place. He said it was a hick dive, and that he had no reason to stay there. That's why you came here to Hazakura? Yes. The woman my father took to already had his next wife, already had a daughter, Valerie, so I had no place in the new family. And I haven't seen my mother once. Having the master's seat stolen, being rejected by her own family, I've heard she's been very battered spiritually and emotionally. I'm finally beginning to see how it fits together. I have asked her everything I can in my capacity as a prosecutor. This incident, everything related goes back to the history of the Fey clan. That's what it looks like. Iris, there's just one more thing I want you to tell me. What is it? During the incident with your sister Dahlia, she poisoned a lawyer. She began a relationship with a certain college student in order to hide evidence. That college student, have you heard anything about him? Well, I did hear one thing. She said she hated his guts. I see. Thank you. You're welcome. Ah! Hurry up, Phoenix Wright! There's still much more to investigate. Leave those locks to me. I'll open them for you, I promise. Thank you. Still one more giant secret left to unlock. Look at that, they really did make a fire. Oh, Mr. Nick! You're late, Nick. You came here for one of our potatoes, we already polished them off. think I've got pretty much all the evidence I need. I just gotta find out what Pearl is hiding. After dinner on the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Elise Donum's room reading a book. Yeah, I was so happy when she invited me, but I didn't go. You didn't go? No, there was someone else I had to go instead. I was so worried. I had to go. I don't know what to do with myself. I was so nervous. So she never went, because she was too worried about someone or something else. On the night of the murder, you went to this place, didn't you? You went here, Pearls, didn't you? Looks like she's still not going to open up. This is where you went because you were so worried, right? Then the next question is who or what were you worried about? Well, I'm going to take a guess, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. You mean you know? If I'm right, will you tell me the whole truth? Okay. You went to this place for one simple reason, and that's this. It's obvious you were worried about. It was Maya, wasn't it? You knew the training Maya was undergoing was dangerous. After all, it was a special course. I signed up. Well, quite bold of you to consider how cold it is. Young people can be so reckless. Don't blame me if you become one with those you channel. Sister Bikini scared you with what she said, didn't she? And because it was you who introduced Hatakuro to Maya in the first place. You felt responsible, didn't you? Thinking about that, what could happen to Mystic Maya made you more worried. I couldn't sit still at all. That's why I decided to go and find out what she was doing. Then we're clear about why you went there. What's not clear is what happened after that. About what time did you head over to the Inner Temple? It was probably about 9:30. I heard the real training was supposed to begin around 10. I wanted to get there before it started. There was so much snow I didn't get there until after 10. Until after? How did you know what time it was? Because I heard the bell ringing. You heard the lights out bell? The bell's pretty small though, isn't it? You must have had really good hearing. I was really trying to pick up the sound of the bell, that's all. I didn't want to miss it, that'd be terrible. She was trying to hear it? Tell me, why were you so worried about hearing the bell? I know why. You were given some instructions to follow that night, weren't you? I presume you recognize this piece of paper? What? Where did you? In the incinerator at the Inner Temple. Pearls. You were following the instructions in the letter that night, weren't you? That's why you couldn't afford to miss the sound of the lights out bell. I'm speechless, Mr. Nick. You're amazing. Those instructions that were found in the incinerator. I believe they were written for you. For me, no. As you can see, a large portion of them were burnt. But that last section was still fairly legible. And as soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Who was it? Whose spirit were you supposed to be channeling? Taking into account the author of the note and their purpose. Whose spirit would she have been trying to channel? Don't overthink it. It's pretty obvious who she was supposed to channel. The person you were trying to channel that night. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? That was the name of the person in the letter. It's just as I suspected. It wasn't Iris who Sister Bikini met at the Inner Temple. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you know anything about her, Pearls? Do you know what kind of woman she is? No. I've never heard of anyone by that name. I thought so. Pearls doesn't have a clue. She doesn't know that Dahlia is her sister. About the instructions in the letter I found. Who wrote them? Whoever it was who asked you. Someone you've never heard of. You must have quite a lot of respect for them. After all, you followed their instructions without question. So here's my next question. Who wrote those set of instructions? Pearls. I have to wonder about something. You didn't have any idea what those instructions meant, did you? But you followed them to the letter regardless. Because it was your own mother who asked you, that's why. I figured it out. The person who wrote you this letter was your own mother, Morgan. That's right. It's time you start telling me the truth. Mr. Nick, Why is she holding back on this? Don't underestimate me just because I'm a child. You're trying to say I followed those instructions. I need some proof. Because I don't think you have any. She'd say anything rather than admitting it. I guess I'll have to produce some evidence. One more should do it. We both know someone carried out these instructions. But you're right. There's no evidence that proves it's you. I knew it! However, I do know that whoever did it was a child. How do you know? Couldn't have been an adult. No adult would have made a simple mistake. I'm sure you were carefully following the instructions, but you misunderstood some of the words, and this is evidence. It was you who splattered gravy on the wall scroll, wasn't it? Why would I do something like... Do you remember what was written in that letter? Gravely roast the master of the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance. But you didn't know how to read that. How do you know? Remember that conversation you had? Perhaps we can read some of the books together. Really? I'd love to. I'm not very good with reading. Well, would you like to practice reading with me? For example, how do you read this? It says gravely. It's kind of a tough word. Sure, Miss Donham taught you how to read gravely and roast, but what she didn't teach you is what they meant. Gravely sounds like gravy to me. And the only roast I could think of was the food. And that's why you did it. That's why you covered the picture of the master in gravy. To be honest, I did think it was a bit strange. I guess I really did get the wrong idea. Just a bit. I really am useless. I couldn't even burn the letter properly. Such a simple thing. I couldn't even do it right. I keep thinking Phoenix is the one talking, but no. So, sorry about that. After dinner that night, I did go to the inner temple with a pot full of leftover gravy. Gravy? I saw the picture of the hanging scroll. I was sure that was the Master of Karain, like it said in the letter. And then? Well, it was already way past 10 when I got there, so I went to the inner temple, in the guest area. Guest area? Yeah, I thought I could wait there until the training was over. Why don't you just go to the training hall? Because Mystic Maya's of the training had started, I couldn't interrupt it. So I just stayed where I could pray for her to get through it. But then, Did you fall asleep? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help it. Hey, don't worry about it. Who cares if you fell asleep? I fell asleep waiting for Iris, too. It happens. Anyway, that's when you found yourself trapped in the inner temple. When I woke up in the morning, I tried not to cry, but Dusky Bridge wasn't there anymore, and there was no one in the training hall. I thought everyone left because I was overslept. I threw the letter in the incinerator, and I heated up the gravy and let off some steam by chucking the gravy. Must have been pretty scary for you. I know what it's like. Nick used to leave me behind when I fell asleep at school, too. Don't equate something so trivial with her experience, Larry. It was written in my mother's letter. It said, as soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. I was on my way over to the inner temple when I heard the bell ring. So you channeled Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit? No. I tried, but I couldn't do it. You couldn't do it? I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time. I tried and tried and tried. Yesterday, this morning, this whole time. But I just couldn't do it. Don't let it get you down. It'll work out. If you want, I'll come flying through the window just for through the sky. Whoosh, just like that. So she never managed to channel her? Is that why you think your spirit powers are gone? I don't know what to do. Is there any other explanation you could think of? I suppose there's one other possibility. It's not very likely, though. Tell me anyway. It could happen if someone else was already channeling that same spirit. Someone else? What do you mean? Well, there's only one of each spirit, right? Yeah, it's like dating a girl, Nick. You can't see a hot chick if she's already taken. Not Larry's case, no. That would mean the night of the murder. Someone else channeled her spirit before Pearls could? Someone else channeled the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne? I'm a failure. I couldn't even grant my mother's final wish. Her final wish? Yeah, this letter. This is my last wish. So make sure you follow these instructions. This letter. I definitely need to find out more about it. My mother has gone to a place called a penitentiary. Yeah, I know. I visit her every month, and last month she told me. The time we've been waiting for has come. There's something I need you to do for me. I hid a letter for you at our home before they brought me here. And I want you to read it and do exactly as it says. It's for the good of the Fae Clan, my angel. You'll be doing a great thing. Now listen carefully, and I will tell you where the letter's hidden. My mother's always nice to me. I love her very much. Yeah, moms will do anything for the kids, right? She said it was for the good of the Fae Clan, so I knew I had to help her. I mean, Mystic Maya's part of the Fae Clan, so it had to be good for her, too. That's right, isn't it? I guess so. There was a picture of her in her letter, too. A picture? Of Miss Dahlia. Usually a picture's enough to channel someone's spirit, but this time... Pretty weird, huh? Like Larry knows anything about this stuff. There's something else that was strange about my mother's letter. The seal on it was broken, like somebody had already opened it. That's pretty strange. Someone had opened it already. Thanks, Pearls. You helped me out. You're very welcome. My mother's now watching over us. I'm sure Mystic Maya will be okay. Look at that innocent smile on her face. What am I supposed to say to her? Huh? Finally figured it out, have you, Trite? You finally realized how terrible a crime being painfully obvious is. The entrance to the sealed cavern looks like a freaking puzzle workshop. I guess he's talking about Iris and the lock breaking. But it's all a waste of time. Why do you say that? Because Maya Fey ain't coming back. What? You don't know what you're talking about. How could you say something like that? It was your job to protect her. Just like it was your job to protect Mia. Two sisters caught up in the worst circumstances. I realize that, but you were the only one by their sides. You were the only one who could have saved them. But I didn't know what was going on. What did I say, Trite? Being oblivious is a heinous crime in itself. Tomorrow, we must settle everything in court, once and for all.
Mr. Nick, is it true what that man said?
It'll be okay. I'm sure Maya's alive. You'll see for yourself tomorrow.
Yeah. I know I can trust you, Mr. Nick.
My dear Pearl, you've done so well, my child. My Pearl. It's better that you don't know what you've done, as I knew this day would come for you. The blood of the clan, the blood of the main family is no more. And now finally, after all this time, the master's seat is yours. My last great wish. It seems I was just in time. Ugh. Okay. Well, we're now at the home stretch. And I will see you guys next time.